Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yay! Hello. Welcome to the Church of R&K. This is Rosemary Nonny Night. What a pleasure to be with you again this afternoon. Okay, today we're talking about making a dent on the planet. That is like my new 3-word thing. I absolutely adore it. The whole concept of one, you being a category of one, and 2, you making a dent on the planet. And what we're talking about today, it really is the fact that there are things that will get in the way of you doing that, okay? There are things that will get in the way of you being as free as you are born to be. There are things that will get in the way of you living the life that you're here to live. Okay, so tell me where you're streaming in from and I'll get back to you in a second. Okay, so let's carry on. So yes, every single person on this planet, in fact, let me give you the picture that started this whole thing inside of my head, which is this. I've always loved doing jigsaw puzzles, okay? And one of the things about a jigsaw puzzle is that each piece is a little bit different from the next piece, okay? They're not exactly the same. Now, what happens is that when you fit these different shaped and sized pieces together, then you get the whole picture. Then you get the whole beautiful wonderfulness. I used to spend quite a lot of my youth or my teenage years when I came to this country where I could have jigsaws doing those things, and I always got this impression that this world in which we live and each individual person is like that. We're each a different shape, a different size, a different everything, except we get compelled to live exactly the same as everybody else around us sometimes. It doesn't have to be the way, and sometimes we're not even aware that this is happening, because I know it happened to me for a very, very long time. And so yes, I've always known, and you've probably always known, that you are here for some reason, that there is something that you're supposed to do. You're supposed to impact people in some particular way, and I don't even care where you are on this planet, okay? Because I had my dreams, even when I was living in Nigeria and all of that stuff. I had dreams, even though there seemed to be so many limitations around me. And there were, okay? Some of you all live in all kinds of different countries around the world, and there are limitations around you, and yet you have these big ideas inside of you that you are here in some way to impact people, to make a dent on the planet. But what gets in the way? Anyway, our affirmation before we carry on with this is this one. I make my dent, I am free. I make my dent, I am free. Yeah, I make my dent, I am free. I make my dent, I am free. I am here for a reason, I live it. I am here for a reason, I live it. I am here for a reason, I live it. I am here for a reason, I live it. Okay, so that's our affirmation for today. I make my dent, I am free, I'm here for a reason, and I choose to live it, okay? So that is the thing. But what are the things that will get in the way of you choosing to live the reason that you're here, to make your dent? Or, you know, because most people ultimately, when it comes down to it, most people are going to go through this planet and it's almost like they didn't exist, okay? Now, and for some of you listening to me, and if you are listening and you're thinking that, then maybe you're not supposed to be listening to me, truth be told. But if you are listening to me and you're thinking, that's just pride, and you're just supposed to be satisfied with whatever, and that's what I used to actually believe as well. That you just be satisfied being like everybody else, doing what everybody else does, being a norm, okay? And it was just like, and finally, I found the courage to realize that no, I'm not a norm. I'm not satisfied. I know I'm here for more. You know you're here for more. You may have settled because, life happens. And there's a few different particular things that I particularly had to free myself from in order for me to start doing the work that I'm here to do, to following the purpose, the dreams inside of me. And there are certain things that you will need to break free of as well in order to live that life. One of them is going to be family. Incredibly, family, friends, relationships, some relationships, my goodness. And the problem for that is that you think that it's right. You think you're not questioning it anymore because you've lived with in a certain box that your family, your friends have placed you within. Because you know what? You were born, You knew you could do, you were born, at that point, you were free, okay? You could do anything. And then you started to grow up and you started to live within the constraints of your particular family, your particular culture, the things that they particularly want from you. And if you, and for some families, the culture is strong, so strong that hardly anybody gets to escape it. And I'm talking from experience, okay? It's like everybody is the same and you feel, and you've always felt a little bit like the odd one out, even within your own family. And it is hurt at times because you felt as though nobody could accept you for who you were. And you've even tried to conform, to be what they want you to be. And yet, it hasn't completely worked. You still feel not free. And so you've held yourself back from doing the things that you're here to do. And you don't even question this stuff any longer because you think this is the right way for things to go because this is the way you've been trained and conditioned to think. So even, it's like your family might have certain expectations of what you're allowed to do, how much money you're supposed to send home or how you're supposed to look after your relatives or this and that and the other. And how in fact, there's all these games sometimes that are sometimes fairly manipulative and you don't even understand where they came from in the first place, but you're supposed to obey them. But you don't recognize that all of this stuff, all this game playing that you're playing with in relationships and being manipulated by this friend or that friend they mean well. They don't mean to manipulate. They don't mean to. But you do feel as though you have to keep living to their rules and regulations, even though you want to be free. And you don't know how to be free of it because you feel evil if you even consider being free or saying no to some of these demands on you. Or like me, you just do what you want to do, but you feel permanently guilty about it. Guilty, guilty, guilty. And it's like you don't take a moment to check that actually, do I need to feel guilty about this stuff? Because for me, it took like coaches saying to me, why does that have to happen that way? But it had always happened that way. My family had always acted in a certain way. I had always put up with it. I had always said yes, or I'd always said no, and then felt really incredibly guilty and shameful that I couldn't just say yes. And so all of that energy was taking me away from the creative work that I am here to do. And so when it came to making a dent, I wasn't making no dent. I was just about trying to appease everybody and keep them all happy, as well as keep myself within the tribe because I wanted to be accepted. I never felt accepted, but I still tried very hard to be accepted. But again, all of that energy taking you away from the work that you're actually here to do. I make my dent. I am free. I make my dent. I am free. That was one thing that got in the way of me doing the work that I'm supposed to do, and I had to question it completely. I had to question some of the rules and regulations that my family was supposed to live within. This was the way we're supposed to do things. This is what I was allowed to be. This is that and the other. And friendships, some friendships had to kind of fade away because I knew that I couldn't keep playing the same old games. And again, wherever you are on the planet, for some of you, you have very strong cultural, traditional ties that keep you all kind of safe. It was originally, when they were probably made to keep everyone safe. But now the safety has become a prison. And you're not questioning it. And until you start questioning it, you will not live to the fullness. And you want to. So I try to bring this stuff to your attention to make you start to think, do I actually want to live the way I've been living, and do I have to? Just because I've always lived this way and it just seems to be the way that works for my family, does that mean I have to keep doing it? And you know what, when I'm talking about family here, I'm not even talking necessarily about your immediate family, although sometimes for some of y'all, your partners are not that supportive of you having big ideas. But of course, if you brought children into the world, honey, it's your responsibility. But when it comes to external family, as in extended family and all of that stuff, check yourself. Or even friends, check yourself. Is this keeping you away from what you are born to do? Because you're trying to keep everyone happy and you think it is the holy and good thing to do. But actually it's keeping you away from your destiny. Number 2, spiritual rules, regulations, religion. That's another thing that if you do not question, if you do not take some time to really think, do I actually believe what I'm saying here, or is it because this is what I've been told I have to believe? And I'm worried that if I don't go along with some of this stuff, that the lightning bolt from heaven is literally going to come and hit me over the head. Basically, am I saying with one hand, oh, God is love, but on the other hand, I'm kind of believing that somehow it's just gonna, kill me and destroy me? And is that keeping me from doing what I'm actually here to do? How is that even? Because for some of, even for me, my religious obligations, are they obligations? I don't know. When I started, particularly when I started to think through this stuff, a lot of my relationships as well were very much tied in with what I had chosen to believe, where I turned up on a Sunday, all of that kind of stuff. And what I did during the week was it was all mixed in. And suddenly I'm thinking I want to create a bigger experience of my life. And it's like, oh my gosh, am I allowed to think this way? Suddenly, some of the guilt and shames and the fear of punishment that used to keep me in place, I now questioned. And I was surprised to find out some of the truths that I allowed into my life because I questioned. Because I no longer just thought, just because I'd been told something when I was 5 years old from some preacher person or priest from the front had mentioned something, giving me his interpretation of what I was supposed to believe, doesn't mean that I have to keep believing it without question. Now, this is not to say that everybody just needs to dump all their whatevers. I'm not that person, no. But I am a person who says you can question, because the truth does stand up to scrutiny. You don't have to hide from the truth. You don't have to pretend that I don't need to question that. If you feel a question inside of you, ask source, ask spirit, ask God. Basically, you don't need to hide away from it, because again, all the energy you use trying to pretend you believe something you don't believe is energy that you will not use to make a dent on the planet. It is scary to question some of this. I've had to help clients with actually getting free of some very intense religious situations. And nobody ever intends it this way at the beginning, but then you end up being controlled. You end up being controlled. If you don't think exactly the same way as everybody else, then it's like, oh my gosh, there's some kind of wahala or trouble or something happening. And so people don't question any longer. And as well as the fact that, for most norms, they don't want to have to question, because if they have to question, they might actually come to a conclusion that they don't want to have to deal with. But we are not those people. We are people who recognize that we are born to be leaders and to make a dent on the planet. And in order for us to do that, there's no area of our life that can remain unquestioned. We cannot live an unquestioned life, because we don't know this. Ignorance is not a relief. It's no answer to anything. Making a deliberate decision about what we choose to believe, because we know that what we choose to believe affects what we do every single day. And if we are going to be those who live out the vision, who live out the calling, there is no room for just pretending that it doesn't matter, that what we believe doesn't matter. Of course it matters, because it will affect whether you do the work that you're here to do or not. It will affect whether you write that book or not. Because if you believe that, oh no, my gift is not really supposed to be used, and this was a belief actually that was just somebody tried to plant in me, that my gift is not supposed to be used to in any way create an income for myself, because if God gave me this gift, then I should just use it only for, only voluntarily. And so people with gifts of art, of writing, of all kinds of things, not using it because they just didn't believe that they were allowed to, but they'd not questioned it for themselves. They'd been told this, they felt part of a community, and it felt, I'd rather stay in the community, being somebody other than myself, than actually question the status quo. These are some of the things that you need to break free of if you are going to make your dent on the planet. We live in a world where really everybody wants everybody to be the same. It's like, why? I do truly believe that every single person is literally a category of one. You get to choose what your life looks like, what you do, how you do it, all of that stuff. You only fulfill your purpose when you fully own everything inside of you. And you want to, that's the thing. So start to question some of the beliefs you have around your religion, around who God is, around your spirit, all of that stuff, you may end up in exactly the same place, but at least let it be a deliberate decision. Question family, question religion. What of your work? The work you do every freaking day. Have you just settled into it because you think, well, you know what, just like me, I became a pharmacist because it just seemed like the most sensible thing to do. Even though it was kind of destroying my soul a little bit, it was sensible. It meant I could pay my bills. Ain't nothing wrong with wanting to pay your bills, man. I make my dent. I am free. 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 I am here for a reason. I live it. I am here for a reason. I live it. That's our affirmation for today. I'm here for a reason. I live it. I make my dent. I am free to make my dent. I'm talking about these things because these are the things that keep you from actually making the dent that you want to. And most of you have, at least if you listen to me, you know that there's something inside of you that is kind of hungry. You know there's more to you. You know you're born for more. And these are the things that will hold you back from going after more. Telling yourself that you have to stay in a career because it's a sensible thing to do, that will hold you back from your more. Yes, I get it. We have bills. I did a video not so long ago, or even I wrote it as a blog post and then did it as a video. When last did focusing on your overwhelming bills make you rich? Never does. It never makes you rich. It never makes you free. And yet people do it all the time. Their whole life is determined, and I'm always fascinated by the fact that people that sometimes accuse me of being all about the money, and I look at their life and I recognize that the only reason they are in the job they're in is because of money. And I think to myself, I think you are the one that is all about the money more than I am. But it's like some people will not be told. It's like the only reason they're doing something they don't want to do is because somebody's going to pay them at the end of the month. And you know what? I'm not against you paying your bills. Of course I'm not. But I say create space for the thing that you're here to do. Create space for it to get bigger. Create space for you to start to live out the dreams and the vision and the calling on your life, or else it's not going to happen. I remember once actually a client saying to me, well, I'm not really sure that I can just quit the job. After all, I spent so many years training and my parents paid out all this money and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, so what? So you're now going to spend the next, 30, 40 years of your life again doing something you didn't want to do the first 40. How does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense, and yet we do it every single day. Oh, it's like, oh, it's safe. Is it really in this climate? Has it been safe for lots of people? Lots of people, it hasn't been safe. For some people, yes, of course, it is safe. Yeah, you get a job for life, yay. But does that really exist that much anymore? If you are not creating something for yourself, that is true freedom. Again, I don't care where you are on the planet. I don't. Really, I do think that everybody, if you have this dream, this idea inside of you to do more, it wasn't given to you to taunt you. Your vision is your permission. And you know what? Spirit, God knew where you were going to be born, knew where you were, didn't give it to you so that you can just say, oh, well, it's not practical in this part of the world, basically. Why? Why is it not practical in your part of the world? Is anybody else doing something like it? Okay, then why not you? Why not you? Fear? Yeah, I get fear. But will fear make you feel good at the end of your life? Hey guys, say hello, say hello, say hello. Don't just stare at me. Say hello, tell me where you're streaming in from. I want to hear. Are you hearing me? This is the Church of R&K after all. Yes is amen, absolutely acceptable. So yes, breaking free of your career if necessary. Because for a lot of people, that is not what they actually are here to do. Again, so many books unwritten, so much art not being created, so many products not being created, and so many services not being delivered because people are stuck, trapped, not doing the work that they're here to do. And then they're also quite dissatisfied with it, and I'm calling you out of that. But freedom is free, and yet it comes at a price, man. And that is the price that people don't always want to pay. It's so much easier sometimes to be a norm, not to question anything, just to go along with the flow, be the same as everybody else around you, except you are hungry for more. So are you willing to do what it takes to go after the more? Your sexuality, that's another area which, when you're a leader and that part of you is stifled because somebody's told you the rules about how you're supposed to behave and what is supposed to be real or not real, and you haven't questioned it for yourself and you haven't taken it straight to source yourself, that will be an area as well where your energy is just diminished. Definitely. That your sexuality leads to birthing of new life from a very practical perspective. Also, from a very mental perspective, it does the same. It is a creative force. If you've stifled it because of the rules that people told you to live by, that will get in the way of you doing the work that you're here to do. That will get in the way of you making a dent on the planet. So many people stifled, and I speak to you, the leader, the maverick, that if you are going to get to the end of your life knowing that you've done the work that you're here to do, then you need to start questioning these things. I'm very much a believer in two things. If you want to create success in your lifetime, again, I don't care where you are on the planet, it applies to every single person, action and clarity. Action, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Clarity is the stuff that I've talked about so far. Most people go straight for the action side of things. They want to know about the strategies for building their own business. They want to know about how to build their audiences. And I'm very much about for action, it is to communicate with people on a regular basis so that you're building an audience of people who get what you're about. You capture them into your world. You build a mailing list. You build a social media platform like this, but I would take them off the platform as soon as possible. And you close them. You tell them what you have to offer, whether it's your books, whether it's your art, whether it's your whatever. You do all of that stuff. So that is the building a business, really. When it comes down to it, you have your product, you start telling people about it, you capture people so you can follow up with them, you follow up with them, you tell them how to buy your stuff. You do all of this at the same time. There's no step by step when it comes to business. There is simultaneous. Do it all at the same time. Use the resources you have here. Anybody, I don't care where you are. If you're watching me right now, you can start building a business on social media right now. You can. Find yourself a product that you believe in or create one from your experiences. That is something you can absolutely do. Okay? And then you just start telling people about it. Whether it's offline or online, you start telling people about it. And then you invite them into your world. So because most people are not going to hear from you the first time and actually buy anything from you, they need to learn to trust you. So you keep showing up. You keep telling them about your thing. You keep telling them how they can get it. They start to buy it from you. That is it. That's business. That's the actions you need to be taking on a daily basis to make this happen. However, people go straight to that and they're looking for the nitty-gritty. How do we do this technically? How does this work? And how does that work? How frequently should I write a blog? How should I do that? They want to know all of that stuff. But the biggest problem for most people, and me possibly for you, and definitely for me for a long time, was the fact that actually I wasn't clear on the inside. And because I wasn't clear on the inside, I didn't really believe that I could go after everything that I actually wanted. It's like I was speaking to a client this morning, and one of her issues is that it's not that she can't sell what she wants to sell, it's that she doesn't really want to deliver it, but she hasn't actually recognized that she's getting in her own way, and so she's not really promoting it. And it's the clarity. It's, as I point out to her, honey, do you actually want to deliver this service? And then she thinks, actually, no, I don't. And that's why you're not selling it. So you need to be clear on the inside of what you want. Now, I know that clarity increases as you stay on the path. So I'm not saying you need to know for definite exactly what you're going to be doing before you start taking action. No, you have to do two things at the same time. You have to be taking the practical action, and you have to be clearing yourself on the inside, forgiving people. Because we talked about relationships. Some of you need to forgive a lot of people. When I forgave some of the people in my life, my business doubled within 3 months. 3 months. Why? Because I was clearer on the inside. Doubled, literally. My property business doubled in 3 months. And I looked back and thought, oh my gosh. And I could see it all started from when I made a conscious decision to forgive a certain person in my life. So some people think, oh, why are you talking about forgiveness? Because it is powerful. It is incredibly powerful. So you take the action, but it's the clarity more than anything. If you're not keeping your mind in the right place, if you're not clear, if you're still trying to please people, and you may not call it pleasing people, but when you are living within a box that your family has put you in because you're too worried to actually question, or you're living within a box that your church or your whatever, your religious organization has decided that this is where you're supposed to fit, and you're still doing it even though it feels kind of, this doesn't feel right, but hey, everybody's doing it, so I go along. That is people pleasing, just so you know. And if you don't get rid of this stuff from your life, it will be incredibly difficult for you to make the dent on the planet that you want to make. And honey, I am so much for 334,000 leaders making a dent on the planet, being free spiritually, relationally, financially, and sexually, because I know that when you get free in all of these areas, you start to question some of the things that you've considered to be the truth, which are not the truth. And remember, the truth does stand up to scrutiny. Once you start to question and start to live a life of awareness, self-awareness to begin with, you start to actually put yourself first. You start to choose you rather than choosing everybody else, putting everybody else's agenda in front of you. And I know for some of you that sounds like, oh my gosh, you mean I should be selfish? It isn't selfish to live out the call on your life, honey. It isn't selfish to want to make a dent on this planet. You are created in the image of the divine. Of course you want more. Of course you do. It is strange and weird when you try to pretend you don't. When you stop putting the brakes on, when you stop stifling yourself, when you stop reacting in fear, and you start to act based on the big call on your life, honey, everything will start to open up for you. The free life is free. You can make a dent on the planet, but it does come at a price. And the price is that you will need to break free of what has been normal to you to date. You may return to it, but you will return to it a more powerful, more deliberate person. It is all about living a deliberate life, living life deliberately, which has definitely been my message from the very first moment, because I knew that for about when did I go bankrupt? When did I go bankrupt? I don't even remember. 28 or so. From that time, I was living, up to that time, I'd lived a very passive life. Very passive life. Just kind of gone along with stuff, felt guilty about stuff. Hey, Che, lovely to hear from you. Lovely to have you on here. But yes, I'd lived a very passive life, lived as people wanted me to live, did what they wanted me to do, all of that stuff. And then finally made a decision to become deliberate. Deliberate about all the things that I needed to do. I have a princess here for some reason. Basically, hello. So it was that transition from being someone who lived very passively to being someone, and she left the door open a little bit, to being someone who lived a very deliberate life. Hey, that made a huge difference to the results I started to get. But it was scary at times, because I've many times felt I'm going to lose all my family at this rate, I'm going to lose my friends, all of that stuff. And yet, for me, the big call has been worth whatever decisions I've had to make. I've not actually lost everything, but you think in the moment that you might. And you have to be willing to give up everything. It's the truth. To give everything for the call on your life. Not many people are willing to make that. And they will tell themselves it's because, oh, no. Oh, God didn't. Oh, I'm waiting for the voice of God. Or I'm waiting for this and that and the other. Oh, no, wait, let me just wait till the children are older. Or let me just wait until my parents are, passed on, so I don't have to look after them anymore or something. I don't know. There's always a reason, and it always sounds good. But do you want to make a dent on the planet or not? Because if you want to make a dent on the planet, honey, you're going to have to look at this stuff and recognize that our world needs leaders like you to wake up. Our world needs leaders like you to recognize that it can no longer it does start with you, but then it goes beyond you. There's a reason that everything that has happened to you has happened, and it is to support somebody else in some way. Some people you literally, your dent will be that you somehow change the lives of 10 other people. For some of you, your dent will be that you change the lives of 1 million other people. It doesn't matter. It only matters that you wake up and start to be fully who you are born to be. I make my dent, I am free. I make my dent. I am free. Amen. I make my dent. I am free. Hello again. I make my dent. I am free. I am here for a reason. I live it. I am here for a reason. I live it. I am here for a reason. I live it. I am here for a reason. I live it. And it all comes down to choice, okay? We can say that fear stops us. We can say, well, we don't believe enough. It doesn't matter. That's a choice that you make. So if we want to impact the world, if we want to leave a dent on this planet, we want to make a dent. First and foremost, accept that you are a category of one, okay? You are not like anybody around you. You will feel sometimes like the odd one out. Don't try so hard to be one of the many. You are not a norm. You are a maverick, an independent thinker. There is a different line. There is a different path for you. But you have to get on it. And as we get on it, again, I don't care where you are on the planet, as you get on the narrow path for you, that's when you start to have the impact that you dream of having. Yes, it will be hard at times. And yet, as you make the decision to let go of some of the rules, the regulations that you've been living your life to, even though some of them you thought you weren't, but you are, as you let that stuff go, you start to step into the call on your life. You start to write those books. You start to sing those songs. You start to do that art. You start to deliver that service. You start to put that business together that will change your community. You start to do the thing. You start to go into government in some cases. You start to impact you're an alternative health practitioner. You start to actually talk loudly about what you truly believe that people can achieve with their health so that you change the marketplace. You start to impact young people. Some of you call to young people, but you're not doing the work because right now all you're focused on is how can I put my next food on my table, which I get. I do not want to diminish that. But I want to say, honey, you know you were born for more than just getting by. And I know, you know what, I was a pharmacist and to everybody else, I didn't look like I was just getting by. I just knew that this wasn't it. I knew there was more. I knew I was here for a reason. I knew that I had a particular shape, as I talked about the jigsaw puzzles. And unless I did something about it, I would just blend into all the norms around me, and I'd just be the same as everybody else, and I'd just die having not done any of the work that I was here to do. And honey, I know you are born for more than that. I knew I was born for more than that. So finally, I had to make a decision to step up and start living the life. I had to start working with coaches personally, and I made to get the support to put me on track. And that's the thing. And for me, the big picture has been that I know that I'm called to impact lots of people, to help them live a free life so that together we can literally change the world. That is what I call Project 334K, where 334,000 of us, okay, are living our life fully. Because I know that as you live your life deliberately, you will not be able to help it. You will impact people around you. For some of you, as I said, some of your call is something big. For some of you, it's something you think is small, but it's not, okay? As we live life deliberately, as we step up, we start to impact the world. And so what I've done here, honeys, is that I have put all the tools that I've learned by paying out something like $100,000 to learn how to market myself, to promote myself, to help my clients, to do all of this stuff. I've put all of that stuff into the Deliberate Millionaire Fast Track Club. And then I've made it incredibly accessible to anybody or anywhere on the planet. It was a lot more before, and it wasn't even that expensive before. But now I know that I'm called to people not just in the UK or the US or wherever. No, I needed to make it accessible to any serious entrepreneurial leader, whether you're still aspiring to start your own thing or you've already started your own thing and you're feeling stuck because you have all of this stuff kind of holding you back from making the dent on your planet. And this is the other thing. Some of y'all, it's ministry you're called to, or it's music, or it's books, or it's art, and you don't consider yourself as such a business person. But how else are you going to get out? How else are you going to get your message out if you don't learn to promote yourself? Okay? You keep waiting, thinking, oh, well, you know, Spirit has given me the call, so I'll wait until, you know, he'll open all the doors for me. Really, how is that working out for you? Really, how is that working out for you? You have to get deliberate. It's like you are making a choice every freaking day that you will do what it takes to call in the people that you are here to serve. So whether you're in ministry, okay, speaking specifically to people in ministry, you think that, oh, if I just sit here and wait, then God will somehow sell everything for me, or he'll get all my people to me. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to build an audience the same as everybody else. There is no spiritual magic bullet for you. You have to learn how to promote what you have, or else it will remain something that is just in your heart and doesn't help as many people as you see in your mind's eye. Come on. What's it? I read it. I don't know where I read it this morning, actually. A quote, something about hell would be getting to the end of your life or something and meeting the person that you could have been. I thought, oh my gosh, that is the truth. Imagine getting to the end of life and recognizing you didn't do everything you could have done, and you could have, you just kept telling yourself, oh no, I need to look after, I'll just wait till the children have grown up, or, oh no, wait, let my parents be fine, oh wait, my partner doesn't want me to do something, oh wait, oh it's because my boss needs me for this, and that friend needs me for the other thing, oh that person's sick over there. And I get it, all of these things seem very real in the moment, but is that the life you want? Honeys, I make this invitation to you. If you are ready to stop making excuses, you're ready to step things up. In fact, even yesterday in the DM club, I had this whole live stream about the fact that we are real people with real lives, real issues, and yet we are trying to build something bigger, and I get it. But it's time for us to make a decision that actually the vision is going to take priority. The big vision for all of our life is going to take priority. And so I invite you to the club. It is incredibly accessible. Incredibly accessible. I had like a nirvana moment. I think it was in December, where I realized if I am going to impact 334,000 people from all over the world, then it needs to be accessible. These tools to build a life of freedom need to be accessible. And so yes, anyway, you'll go and have a look at it, and you might think to yourself, why is it so low? And I say to you, because I'm called to 334,000 people, and it's not just about the money for me. It is about living out my call. What is yours? My call is actually to help you live out yours, to help you claim a free life in every single area of your life. So yes, the DM Club is about helping you with your business stuff, but it's also about helping you with anything else, getting you clarity so that you can focus on living out the call on your life. Are you ready? Are you ready? It's RosemaryNonny.com/DM fast track. Go and have a look at it right now. And I'm going to sing this one last time, and then we'll bring this to a close. I make my dent. I am free. 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 I am here for a reason. I live in. I am here for a reason. I live in. I am here for a reason. I live in. I am here for a reason. I live in. Go away singing that. You make your dent. You are free. You are here for a reason. You get to choose to live it. So choose to live it every freaking day. Every day. Yes, you may some days feel a bit deluded when you consider the hugeness of your vision. Do not allow that lack of faith for a second to determine the rest of your life. Okay? I invite you to the club. I give you all the tools you need to build a big business if that's what you want. A business that gives you enough security, if that's what you want, a ministry, all of that stuff is in the club. I've made it incredibly accessible to everybody wherever you are on the planet, because 334,000 of us together, all living life deliberately, honey, we will change the world. We will change the world, okay? We are the ones that make the change. There's no point looking to other people to be the leaders for us. We are the leaders. We are the ones who make the change. So let's do this thing together, okay? It's RosemaryNonny.com/DM fast track. Go and have a look at the club. if it resonates. I only want people that resonate in that. Let us, because we're going to be doing stuff together. So if it resonates, come and join in. It's an incredible, incredible offer for the right people, okay? I'm in there helping you personally with your particular issues with your business. I've made it incredibly accessible. I don't care where you are on the planet. Come into the club. If you can listen to me, honey, you can create wealth doing what you love. Give yourself the option. Go over to rosmarynonnynight.com/DM fast track. I cannot wait to see you in there. And guys, thank you for being here. This has been the Church of RNK. I try to do this every day around about this time. I will make no promises. After I'm a free spirit, man. It may be a different time tomorrow, but right now, Monday to Friday, definitely, I'm going to try and keep it to the same times because I know that just helps you guys know where to be. But guys, this has been the Church of RNK. I'm Rosemary Nonny Knight. Such a pleasure to have hung out with you. Thanks, guys, that took part. Speak to you again soon. Much love. Go and have a look at the Deliberate Millionaire Fast Track Club. It is a place to be if you are serious about moving forward and you want to be surrounded by a group of powerful people and we're all moving forward, okay? Together, let's change the world, yeah? Until the next time, it's been a pleasure. Much love. Did I say my thing? It's time to fight for and to deliberately design the life you are born to live because you absolutely want to. It's been an absolute pleasure. Until the next time, bye.